Come on then. Stop. Let me do it. I think we're on here. Okay, hang on a minute. Let me just double check this to make sure it actually looks like it's working. If you can see me talking and waffling to myself, then good on you for being patient. But let's see if we can quickly find it. Championship review. Right, so I can hear us on here, but I can't see us. Hang on. Add to it.
You've got to get rid of the theme, Bob, haven't you?
Hang on.
The screen theme, Bob.
Oh, hold on.
The one you added.
Dynamic.
I think people can hear us. So hello, everyone.
Yeah, well, hello. People can actually hear us talking about
having some technical.
Well, this is definitely not what I. This is definitely not what I'd had planned for this at all. Hang on. I'm wondering if there's a way I can actually get the. No, I don't want that.
it's the thing you added at the start, isn't it?
Hang on. There we go. Right, that's better.
Go.
Now, should I do that?
No, don't do that.
Right, okay, then let's just ignore that went completely tits up. There you go. Shows how it wasn't a great weekend for any of our teams was. Although, in fairness, ours was away at Man City, so I can't really say that. But anyway, yes, we are back to review more of the Championship. As you can tell, I am not Carl Levy, so obviously Carl won't be with us this week, but obviously it's just the usual suspects of myself and Annie Harris. And I suspect with football-wise, he's probably been better, but but pretend football didn't exist for a minute. Are you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Been busy with uni work as always, so
oh yeah, you'll be not far off Christmas now, will it? Not far. Have you only got like one more week until it gets to
one more week, and then Coventry away, and then back home. So got a nice week planned. So yeah,
wasn't a good week for any of the teams. You saying up the Cov and they lost 3-0 to Ipswich.
I'll say up the Leicester soon.
Yeah.
No, not a good week for any of the Midlands. Not for Coventry anyway.
No.
But yeah, not doing too bad. How about you, Michael?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm not. I'm doing reasonably well here. Obviously, as Andy has just known, because obviously I've started shitting my pants basically because obviously next week is the Sunderland Newcastle game, so that's going to be.
Why?
Yeah, can't have any imagination why whatsoever. So I'd imagine if Andy's travelling back from Coventry down to Bristol on the Sunday, I wonder if he's going to be looking at Sky going, is Michael going to be happy or is he going to be absolutely fuming? One of the two. But anyway, hello, Steve. Is it Stephen or Stefan? I'm always terrible with names.
I think it's Stefan.
Stefan, well, hello, mate. Nice to actually talk to you last week. But yes, so let's get on to talking about the Championship. The first thing we should probably mention is obviously there were two games called off, which was Blackburn-Sheffield Wednesday. So obviously Blackburn for the second time this season will have to have a game rearranged, which is quite hilariously bad for the Venkies, isn't it? Incredible. But there's not much more to say on that one. And then obviously on a bit of a somber note, obviously we had the Charlton and Portsmouth game postponed, but that's minuscule in the grand scheme of things. There was a Charlton fan who sadly had a medical condition and since passed away in hospital, I think. And I should have really remembered what his name was. Bear with me a minute, I'll get it up as a mark of respect. But yes, so obviously Charlton. Hang on, Charlton fan. Would help if I could type Charlton fan properly, wouldn't it?
Whoever it was,
Norman Norman Barker. That's it. So
very, very well loved, very well respected within the Charlton fan base. Very popular. So incredibly depressing and sad. And yeah, you're completely right. Minuscule in the grand sort of scheme of things in terms of a football match being called off. He's actually bothered. So. Thoughts go out to his family, his friends, his loved ones, everyone. I'm sure Mug echo their sentiments as well. I mean, just absolutely terrible. Devastating for Charlton, and then their fans to lose someone so well liked and so well popular. Just awful news.
Yeah, of course it is, and I think that I think I completely echo everything that Annie said. It's just. Like you said, football in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter compared to something like this, which feels quite weird saying because we're going to be talking about the football weirdly. But yes, there's obviously I think this had to be mentioned at the start. Just to obviously the more important news is that hopefully Norman Barker's friends. I think the one thing that will hopefully provide solace to Norman's family and friends and loved ones is just how beloved he was within Charlton fan base community, and I think that the response certainly online to what's happened, I think, kind of proves that really. So, yeah, rest in peace to Norman there. But yeah, so obviously we'll move on to talking about. So although football is minuscule in comparison to that, we're still going to talk about it. So why not? The show will go on, as they say. So I'll tell you what, let's start with the game at the I would say the game at the top, kind of, because Ipswich are kind of near the top. Coventry definitely are at the top. But it was Ipswich's day yesterday, Annie. A 3-0 win over Coventry. So, why a couple of the goal scorers always got to have unpronounceable names? So we got Jelly, I think, is it? Egelly or Egelly?
Eggly.
Egley, there you go. See, I'm terrible. George Hurst, my favourite striker ever, George Hurst scored, and then Yvonne Azon or Azon, whichever way. Yeah. Come on, have some more English players so that I don't have unpronounceable names. But yes. But Ipswich did beat Coventry 3-0, which is, I'm personally, I don't know what you, Annie, I'm not surprised at the result. I am a bit surprised at the manner of the scoreline, but apparently there was some refereeing controversy in this game from what I am seeing from Coventry fans. So if that is indeed the case, then Championship referees being Championship referees. What a surprise. But first and foremost for Ipswich, arguably one of the results of the season so far for them.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be now a catalyst, doesn't it? I mean, we know they can match Coventry. We know that. Arguably, some would say that Coventry at their best versus Ipswich at their best, Ipswich are better than Coventry. Arguably, some could say that. Yeah. But Ipswich have been nowhere near the best this season, and we won't talk about it at great length. But in midweek, they played obviously that rearranged fixture at Blackburn, and thought they were a bit just very average. Just looked very, very average, and so very lucky to get a point. I thought Blackburn were very good in that game, but they got a reaction at Portman Road. They absolutely blitzed Coventry. There is one key moment in the game, from what I saw in the highlights, in the short highlights package Sky Sports put together. So blame them if I'm missing anything. Is that I think it might be Matt Grimes who hits the post after a Bobby Thomas sort of back heel, and he falls to. I think it might have been Matt Grimes, might have been Josh Eccles. Someone from Coventry hits the post, and that's a big moment because I think Christian Malden gets a hand to it. So if Coventry go 1-0 up there, who knows? The game could be so different, but the Championship, and especially when you've got a game of such high magnitude, it's going to be decided on 5 moments. And Ipswich take the lead. It's a bit of a messy goal, isn't it? It's nicely worked, to be fair, from Ipswich, and they keep their composure even after the ball is put through to Leif Davis on the right hand side, floats it over to the back post, keeps this calm Jaden Philogene, and then just puts it across, and Eggly with a nice finish on his left foot. It's nice. Wraps his foot around it and puts it in the bottom corner. What is the second goal? George Hurst running in behind. By the way, shout out to Marcelino Nunez for this ball, because this is utterly ridiculous. On his weaker left foot, he's got the ball. He's running. He's running with the ball. He's not stopped. He's running with the ball on his weaker left foot, slightly off balance. If you notice how he delivers the ball over the top. And he puts it in the perfect region for George Hurst to just run onto. Doesn't go to his feet, doesn't go just sort of right in front of him, so he has to take the ball and move. He just moves, gets the ball, past Kitching and Thomas, and lovely finish. And I think a lot of credit has to go to Nunez for that one. The third goal is just Coventry getting caught out whilst trying to chase a goal, isn't it? And Ivan Athon tries to put it across the box, doesn't get it, ricochets back to him. It's a nice finish, actually. So 3 very good finishes from Ipswich, actually. 3 good goals, and that's what they can do. And for all accounts and purposes, Ipswich weren't utterly brilliant. They didn't completely blow Coventry away, but they won the game 3-0. And if you've got quality like you do at Ipswich, they can do that to any team in the division, even Coventry, as they found out. So I think from a Cov perspective, this is probably one of the hardest games they're going to have this season. Yeah, okay, they've lost it, whatever. You can have a few defeats over the course of the season. It's going to happen, whatever. So yeah, I think from a Coventry perspective, can they put that to bed like they did against Wrexham? They lost to Wrexham. Can they put it to bed and now go again and win a couple more of their games? Well, hopefully not the next couple, for obvious reasons. But the next game, if they want to win their next game,
but then lose the one after that.
Yeah, if they want to do that, that'll be acceptable. But it's how they respond now. It's how Cov respond. For Ipswich though, we talked about it with Sheffield United, didn't they? Obviously, Ipswich are not in as much of a dismal position as Sheffield United were or are. But this has to be a catalyst of good performances matched up by good results.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, the amount of times where it feels like deja vu with Ipswich. As for me, as soon as they start to look like they're going to, right, here you go, they're going to hit top peak and then they drop points again in the next game. So I think, and don't get me wrong, I think what Ipswich need to do for me now is get a really solid, say, 10-game unbeaten run, but with like 7 wins in there, 6, 7 wins, and really start to, because although I think, because obviously they're still 12 points behind Coventry, it's a big ask for them to overturn that. But I suspect if you ask Ipswich fans, would you take second right now? I think they probably would take that. And I think second's more than achievable for Ipswich. And I've said before that I think, for me, even out the parachute teams, I think Ipswich are the best equipped. It's just a matter of whether they start to gel things together or not in time. But we'll wait and see how it all pans out. But yeah, I mean, for Coventry, I wouldn't be too worried about this. This is one of, like you said, I think this is one of the hardest fixtures they'll have this season, and I think it won't. I think as long as Coventry bounce back, I think they've got Preston away on Tuesday night, I want to say. So I think that's obviously going to be key for them to try and respond to that. Obviously, your boys at the CBS next weekend. But I think
they never win at Preston, by the way. They've got a weird hoodoo at Preston.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre. And actually, Preston themselves have not been any bad shakes this season, have they? So
yeah, especially deep there.
No, absolutely not. So I think, it's obviously, I think I know Lampard himself will know it's obviously far from an easy game. Of course, it won't be an easy game whatsoever. So yeah, I think with Coventry, I wouldn't be concerned. I think the good thing for them is because they started so damn well, they could afford, although they didn't want to lose, they could afford it realistically as long as they bounce back. So, it is what it is. And I think Coventry have earned enough credit in the bank for Lampard and the players for them to be able to see if they can respond. Which in fairness to them, when they lost to Wrexham, they responded with, I think it was something like 3 wins on the bounce or whatever it was.
I think it was like 5 wins in a row.
Or something like, because they won like 3 in a week, didn't they? Not long ago. So yes, I would not be too concerned if I was a Coventry fan. And at the end of the day, there's still
55 points clear second.
Yeah, well, it feels like it, doesn't it? Yeah, so 7 points clear as second. Let's quickly talk about the team who are in second, which is Middlesbrough. Now, I thought this game was going to be quite close and quite entertaining. And if you're a Middlesbrough fan, it was entertaining. And I suppose if you're a Hull fan, it wasn't dull, but for all the wrong reasons. So let's go to it. Hull City won Middlesbrough on Friday night. I don't know if any watched this game, but I did watch a lot of this game. I can imagine if you told even Middlesbrough fans, given how where Hull were in the league, oh, by the way, you'll be 4-0 up at half-time. They probably would have thought you were smoking something. So, go on, Annie. What went right for Borough in the first half, and what on earth went wrong for Hull? Are they showing their defensive frailties as to why they've conceded quite a few goals this season?
Yeah, and the former's gone off a little bit for Hull as well, haven't they? I think it's 3 defeats and 4 now for Hull, which is a little bit concerning. Granted, they've had some difficult fixtures in there. I'll agree with that. But the win came away at Stoke, which is, again, one of the hardest.
That's a very good result.
One of the hardest fixtures in the league at the moment. So just bizarre Hull. Middlesbrough blew them away in the last sort of 15 minutes of that first half.
Just to interrupt you, the second goal 32nd minute, the third goal 35th minute, and then the fourth goal 44th minute.
Yeah, I mean 3 bang 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 for Borough. So look, they deserved it. They were absolutely fantastic, and they didn't let Hull out easy, and they were brilliant, Middlesbrough. So completely deserved it. And what we've noticed with Kim Hellberg so far, he's had 2 games in charge. He's won both of them. Obviously, that's the big story, Derby and Hull. He's not been afraid to make a bold decision or two. Against Derby, he threw in, I think, Alex Bangura straight away into the team, and Bangura was brilliant at left back. He also threw in Alex Gilbert into this team, into the team for the Hull game. And
didn't Alex Gilbert score the winner on New Year's Day last season away at Hull?
No, late on, last year. And he scored the second goal, I want to say, Gilbert, and was just fantastic in general. He's a very, very good player.
Yeah, he did get the second. I've got to quickly mention Morgan Whittaker's goal.
Whittaker's goal is fantastic.
And actually, what's quite impressive is that he's actually started to find a bit of form for Borough, because obviously his move from Plymouth was quite not questionable, because I think you could argue he'd earned the move from going from Plymouth to Middlesbrough and it's a step up, but he hadn't delivered the performances I'd kind of hoped to see from Whittaker, at least the end of last season. I don't know whether that was just Michael Carrick sort of reaching the end of his sort of time at Borough, but this season so far, I think he's got at least 3 or 4 goals already, and he's starting to contribute on a more regular basis, and assisted the first goal as well.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's bang at it. Hull, I don't know. I still think that it could be playoff contenders. I think they could. I think they probably are at the moment. They definitely are at the moment. But it's just a concern of if those goals drop off a little bit, even a fraction, and the number of goals they concede just keeps at the same rate, then they're not going to be winning many games, and they're going to actually be conceding a ton of goals. So it's a bit concerning from a whole perspective. The fact that you just so easily fall apart inside sort of 10 minutes of football, and the game is just completely taken away from you. It's concerning. Who have they got in midweek, Michael?
They have got Wrexham at the AKM Stadium on Wednesday night, and then they have a trip to Millwall next Saturday.
Okay, so that's not easy at all.
And then West Brom at home after that, right before Christmas.
Okay, so yeah, they've got they've really got to make sure they don't lose 2 out of the next 3 again. So they've got to find a way to pick up some points just to get some momentum back and start scoring more goals, because they didn't score against Ipswich at home and they've only scored 1, and the 1 goal came after they were 4-0 down. So it's a little bit of a okay, but what does that actually mean? So bit concerning for Hull. For Middlesbrough, I kind of had this thought in the back of my mind of, well, I was kind of split over whether Middlesbrough are going to adapt to what Kim Hellberg wants to play, the way he wants to play football, or is Kim Hellberg going to adapt to what Middlesbrough have been doing so well? And I thought, okay, he might just sort of reach a middle ground, and they do a little bit of this and they do a little bit of that, and they're generally sort of 50-50, and they're pretty adaptable. That was absolutely outstanding from Borough, and it seems like the Borough squad have adapted to Kim Hellberg's style of play quite well already, and they're playing some brilliant football. And yeah, is the argument
they were relentless on Friday, though, weren't they? When they got 1, they weren't just keen on going 1-0 up and then sitting back on a 1-0 lead. They were going, right, let's press for another one. Let's press for another one. Let's press for another one. The only thing is the second half for me was quite dull from a spectator's point of view, but at the same time, I was just about to say that's going to suit Middlesbrough, though. That's exactly what you want, really, when you're 4-0 up. Okay, yeah, Hull got a penalty, Gelhardt scored. Quickly on Gelhardt, he's having a stellar season in front of goal. Got to say, I think that's his 8th or 9th goal this season. So he's having a brilliant season campaign on a personal level, but I think when you Borough, that suits them. When you've got, I think it's Charlton away Tuesday night, I want to say that they've got, and then next weekend they're at home to QPR. That's 2 games where they would really fancy themselves to get results into. So I think, and actually what's helpful is you've got Friday to Tuesday, so that extra day's recovery could be massive. And then you've got the Tuesday through to the Saturday. So yeah, fair play to Borough for it, though. It's a great win.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Kim Hellberg, he doesn't look stupid, does he? He doesn't come across as someone who's just going to do the same thing over and over again and hope for it to change.
Michael Carrick.
I was going to say Russell Martin, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Michael Carrick kind of had that as well, I think, at the end.
Yeah, I guess. But Carrick at least had success with what Middlesbrough were doing.
That is very true. Well, if you want to compare to someone who was stubborn, until the last 2 games, Daniel Farker at Leeds. The last couple of games he did switch it up, but before the Man City game, he was stubbornly going to a back 4.
Sorry. Going back to Kim Hellberg, he looks like he knows what the Championship is about, and he looks like you've got to be brutally honest. Middlesbrough are in a fantastic position, and a lot of it is down to them being fantastic. Yes, but the door is open for them this season because of some of the teams not performing to their what we expected them to be. We still might see a rise from certain teams, but they've been fantastic, and there's a real opportunity for a team like Middlesbrough to get into the Premier League, whether that's by second place, whether that's via automatics. But if somehow Middlesbrough have accidentally stumbled upon an upgrade on Rob Edwards and someone who's going to bring a style of football who's, I don't know, just better suited for the longevity of a promotion push, well, you're laughing your head off, aren't you? So, yeah, brilliant from Borough and brilliant from Hellberg, and I'm really, really impressed. And we play them soon, and I'm not fancying it in the slightest.
Is it at the Ashton Gate or the Riverside?
It is at Ashton Gate, yeah.
Well, do you know what? Right, I think First you've got to mention. I agree with you. I think Kim Hellberg couldn't have asked for a better start. Obviously, 2 wins, and they won them in different ways. Where I think they won the Derby game quite late on, didn't they? They won that game from coming around from 1-0 down until the last 15, 20 minutes.
They broke down a really low block in Derby. I mean, Derby didn't have a shot in the second half, so the fact that they were able to break them down, overcome a lead in the second half. I mean, would they have been able to do that under Rob Edwards?
Maybe not. Probably not. You could argue it. So I think that's a good thing, Go, because as Borough do better, teams are going to start sitting off them more, aren't they? And actually go, right, okay, then we need to sit in a low block and see if these guys can break us down. So the fact they've shown they're able to do that, and by the way, that's a Derby team that's generally good defensively and is quite, well, okay, maybe not so much yesterday, but in general are quite good, have been good recently defensively under John Eustace. We know what he's about. So to be able to beat them in that fashion is great. And then to go to a whole side who, on their day, can turn it on against anyone and have gone and scored 4 goals by half time and managed the game second half. So, yeah, if I was a Borough fan, yeah, I think there's a fair question there. Have they upgraded on Rob Edwards, weirdly enough, which is quite a strange thing. So it would be a very fascinating narrative if because I think it's safe to say Wolves are probably going to go down. So if Wolves go down, but then Borough managed to go up, so it would be, with the Rob Edwards factor, it would be quite a funny story. But we'll wait and see what happens with that one. Yeah. Anyway, let's move. Well, so since we're talking about the parachute teams, let's get the other 2 out of the way first. Let's go to Bramall Lane. So we had Sheffield United hosting Stoke City, and obviously it's relevant at the top because Stoke got battered in this game. Yeah, I'll quickly say, I was to quickly touch through all of the goals. So obviously you have is it Mark McGuinness? I think it is. Yeah, he scored a goal from a set piece for the first goal within 10 minutes into the game. Sariki scores a great curler from outside the box. Very, very, very well hit. Patrick Bamford, of course, is adding to a goal tally at Sheffield United, which is quite funny considering he joined the song about Wilder is a wanker or a wanker, and then joins in with the song, and now he's playing for him, which I do find quite amusing. It's quite funny. But you got to say, I mean, with Sheffield United, there was obviously a criticism of them not scoring enough goals. Well, when you've got a front line of, say, Tyrese Campbell, Patrick Bamford, and to a lesser extent Tom Cannon, that shouldn't really be a problem. But
is it now 3-3-3-4 in terms of goals they've scored?
3-3-4. So who would have scored 4 then?
So as in they've scored 3 goals in 3 consecutive games, and then now they've scored 4.
So Sheffield Wednesday they scored 3. Yeah. Then what was it last weekend?
Leicester they scored 3.
3 and then 4 here. Yeah, okay then.
Well, I think.
To be fair to them, they've gone away to a Year 1 parachute team and won 3-2, and they've beaten a team in the top 6 of the Championship and won 4-0. So,
and they scored 3 against Pompey as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, I would say, this is the question that has to be begged here. Is this the start of maybe Chris Wilder taking Sheffield United up the table?
Yeah,
because it's got to be, hasn't it?
It has to be. Yeah.
And I said quite a while. When we were talking about Sheffield United being written off for promotion. And I did say, to be fair, though, I wouldn't rule out Sheffield United getting into the playoffs if they get on a good run. Because let's face it, like we've said, we've said it till we're blue in the face. The squad Sheffield United have got should be absolutely nowhere near where it is in the Championship. Again, like we said, the context, they've lost Vinny Souza, that's a big loss. And it might have took them a bit of time to get over that. But they're starting to get over it. And if they're winning 4-0 against the likes of Stoke, who have started exceptionally well in some style, then that has got to be very impressive. Obviously, City Peck scored a penalty in the second half, but obviously the game was done by that point.
Yeah.
What's good for them, I think, is Gustavo Hamer coming back from injury, I think. So that's going to do that, because obviously he was out for a while, wasn't he? So I think getting players like even him on the ball as well, Callum O'Hare is another one too. They've got the quality. We've said it before. They've got the quality for me to be within the playoff picture. So what's that? 3-4 wins on the spin now?
Four in a row.
4-0, there you go. So, Who knows? Maybe Sheffield Wednesday fans wouldn't like me to say this, but maybe Sheffield Wednesday kind of kick-started their rival season, which I suppose they would not have wanted to have happen at all. But no, Stoke, obviously, bad day at the office. Sheffield United are still a Year 2 parachute team and still underperforming for me. So maybe the manner of the defeat, as in the scoreline, might be a bit of a concern for Mark Robbins. But I'll make it about Sheffield United here, though. 8 points off the playoffs. Okay, 9 effectively with a goal difference, but plenty of time in the season. I wouldn't be surprised if Sheffield United are in the conversation to come towards the back end of the season.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because it take points, yes, but there's a lot of traffic in the way, and they've got Southampton and Ipswich and Leicester in the way as well. So it's difficult, I think, for Sheffield United with the start they've had, and it's going to be difficult. But they've got the quality to do it, and they've got the match made in heaven with. God, sorry, they've got the match made in heaven with Chris Wilder to do it as well. So, would you be surprised?
No, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. I think we'll wait and see. I think if they still had Ruben Sayers, somehow still had Ruben Sayers at this point, then yes, I would be very surprised. But I think with the fact that Wilder's, to be fair, he's actually got them stopped leaking so many goals. That's a starting point, and then and it's an example of what I've said before. I can't believe I'm giving Chris Wilder credit for something. But anyway, no, he stopped them leaking goals. And what I always say is confidence is built from being good at the back. That improves you going forward. And I think Sheffield United are finally starting to bear the fruits of that. So, and even if you look at the goal score, I mean, they've scored 24 goals. So for context, that is only 4 less than Middlesbrough, who are second. Okay, that's about 9 less than Ipswich, but I think Ipswich have a better team. They've scored 1 goal less than Leicester, 7 goals less than Southampton. They've scored more goals than. They haven't scored too many far. I think is it Bristol. They've scored 2 goals less than Preston, Stoke, and Bristol City. They've scored more than Millwall, who are third. So if they're starting to keep clean sheets and starting to get the goal difference in a healthy position again, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked to see. And who knows? You know what actually would be quite funny from my perspective? Well, you wouldn't find it funny unless you got second. But from my point of view, what would be interesting is if you had all 4 parachute teams in the playoffs. Like that would be absolutely insane. Like,
It'd be insane, but it'd be really boring.
well,
It'd be so boring.
Yeah, well, it would. In some
I
sense,
mean, I guess you'd have
you
that
couldn't call
element of
final, though,
surprise.
could you? You wouldn't be able to. Like, say for example, 2 years ago when you had Leeds, Southampton, West Brom, and Norwich, that was pretty straightforward. Who was going to be the final, really? Whereas this, I think, would be a lot more open ended because all 4 of them would be in there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you did have 4 in the playoffs, that would mean 1 surprise promotion. Coventry are not a surprise at this point, so you'd have 1 surprise
So a team who'd
promotion.
get second in that point, yeah.
Yeah, so like Middlesbrough, Stoke,
Bristol
Millwall.
City.
I said Middlesbrough, Stoke, or Millwall. So yeah, I guess you'd have 1 surprise automatic place in there, so that would be something. But yeah, 4 parachute teams in the playoffs is a bit. I don't know. Just from my perspective, I'd just
No,
be
I
a
get
bit.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing, to be fair, is if Sheffield United didn't get promoted this year, then they're not a parachute club anymore because next
Yeah.
year they won't have
Yeah.
that. So,
Yep.
from their point of view,
It's a ticking time bomb, isn't it? Those gosh,
exactly when you go down,
awful parachute. Yeah.
what's the narrative? You have to go up in your first season, really.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then the
Or you
second.
have to set yourself. Or you have to set yourself up fantastically well for the second season, which Sheffield
And
United. It looked like Sheffield United had done that whilst getting 92 points, but then they decided to sack Chris Wilder, which was a bit.
who they then rehired a few months
Yeah,
later
yeah.
after his successor. Well, hang on, his successor and predecessor at the same time ended up doing terribly. So yeah, decision makers.
It's like flogging a dead horse with Sheffield United. They've got a great squad. They've got a fantastic manager. It's taken a little bit of time for them to get going. Is it a little bit too little, too late potentially? But they're.
I think it's far from too late, personally. When it's only 8 points, you know as well as anyone that can change within 2 or 3 weeks. I wouldn't be shocked.
And I guess you've got this run of fixtures now in the Championship where, and I've banged on about it on my channel, where this is make or break sort of territory. This run up to New Year, absolutely crucial for pretty much every team in the division. Where you've got to pick up points at a steady rate in terms of relative to what you want to achieve. So if Sheffield United can reach a position where they're really, really good, second, they're automatic promotion places, you would not be surprised if they're in round the playoff places sniffing.
Well, what I was going to say was, their next few games, they've got Norwich at Bramall Lane on Tuesday night. They travel to West Brom next Friday on Sky Sports if anyone wants to watch it. Then you've got Birmingham at home after that, right before Christmas. A Boxing Day trip to Wrexham, which is also on TV, I believe, because it's a 5:30 kickoff. So that's like box office stuff.
This is nasty for United, actually.
Well, these next couple of games after this are quite tricky. So I know they've just beat them 4-0, but Stoke at the Bet365, I think that's going to be a considerably tougher game second time around.
Yep.
Leicester at Bramall Lane, although to be fair, if you believe Ant, the way Leicester are going, then I know Leicester won yesterday, but the way that Leicester have gone this season, you never know. Then you've got Oxford at home after that. You've got Charlton away after that, and then they've got Southampton towards the back end of January. So I think
That's difficult, isn't it?
maybe by the end of January, maybe wait and see where they are, and then we come back to it and see what their credentials are as far as playoffs are concerned. But no, it's a great win for them. You can't knock that away at home to Stoke, who've done maybe obviously let in 4 goals, lost to Hull last week, but
I think with Stoke, can I just twist the conversation onto Stoke? Just briefly, I think I've slightly revised my opinion on Stoke, as in I still think they're a very, very good team. I don't know if they've got the capabilities of sustaining a top two.
I don't think
push.
Playoffs possibly. I don't think
playoffs definitely. I think they're not bad. They're not shoo-ins, but I think they're very, very strong for playoffs. I think they're a very good side for that. They have a good bed for that. But I think top 2 potentially might be just a bit too far for Stoke. I still think they've got good players, but some players I think can be hit and miss, and they were very much miss yesterday. So, look, I think they've got a good squad, and Mark Robbins knows his way around the Championship. And if they're in a sort of top 6 battle, I think they'll probably get in there because of Mark Robbins. So yeah, I've slightly tweaked my opinion on Stoke. I still think they're a decent bet for the playoffs. But in terms of a top 2 push, I think it's going to be really difficult. But again, doors open. If someone like Middlesbrough can do it, why can't Stoke? Why can't Millwall? So why can't someone like that do it as well?
No, that's totally fair enough. I think that what I would say is, for me personally, by the end of the season, I think the race for second, assuming Coventry don't screw up massively, which I don't think they will, to be fair, but you never know. You can't rule anything out. Assuming that doesn't happen, I still think Ipswich will have enough to claim second. But if Kim Hellberg continues to prove to be an upgrade on Rob Edwards, then you can't rule it out, can you? There's no way you can sit there and just say that they rule it out. And again, like with a lot of the teams up there, but I think people often assume that the top of the league's not very good this year because a lot of non-parachute teams, apart from it, well, Ipswich are the only parachute team that's in the top 10 for context, but that doesn't mean the teams who are there haven't done well. And I think Middlesbrough deserve to be where they are on merit. So I think you've got to give it that credit. But I do agree. So to make it relevant with regards to Stoke before we move on to the next game, I think Stoke for top 2 I never felt was really going to happen. But we'll wait and see. Right, then let's get the last of the parachute payment teams out of the way. And boy, do I wish Ant was here for this, because he was enjoying this just a little bit yesterday. Derby County 1, Leicester City 3. So now, for context, guys, I have barely seen any of the Championship highlights. I've got it on the screen right now, just so I can try.
I actually watched this game.
Right, okay then. Well then, fair enough. Well, you take me through it then. So obviously Leicester were 3-0 up at half time. I think it's Bobby Reid. Well, no, I think
Bobby Reid.
Corver Reid, whatever you want to say. Oliver Skip, and then no, that's Jordan James, isn't it?
Jordan James.
I was going to say Justin James there instead of James, and I was like, no, hang on, he's
James
elite.
Justin.
Yeah, reverse it round. Go on then, take me away. Derby County 1, Leicester City 3.
Yeah,
good or Derby crap.
A bit of both, I think. I think Leicester were fantastic actually. First half, I thought they were brilliant. Created a load of chances. Well, maybe not a load of chances. Created more than enough chances. Very good territory. It felt like Derby had a lot of the ball in the first half. Maybe the stats say something else, but I felt like Derby had a lot of the ball.
Just to jump in there for a second, Derby had 60% possession according to this.
In the first half.
Well, it says across the whole game. I don't know if it says specifically for first half.
Well, yeah, and it felt like Derby were relying a little bit on set pieces and getting Joe Ward on the ball and putting crosses into the box and stuff like that, which is fine. But if that doesn't come off, you've got very little going forward from an attacking perspective. I thought Agmiang was quite good, and he looks like a good player. He's quite don't be fooled by his height, his lankiness. He's quite good on the ball. He's very, very, very good technically. Can work space on the edge of the box if you get him the ball and have a shot on something. He's a definite goal threat. But Leicester with Ollie Skip, I thought Jordan James was brilliant. He looks fantastic. Jordan Ayew, I thought up front was really good as well. And I know he's a bit of a sort of big name, old name in England, but across the Premier League. But I thought he was fantastic yesterday for Leicester, and ran the line really well. Second half, I thought Derby were better. They created more chances, more set pieces, so they looked a bit more threatening going forward. Joe Ward, I thought, was very good on the right wing back. Langas gets a nice goal, but the game was gone at 3-0
I
inside
was just
about
about
half
to
an
say,
hour.
yeah, it was 3-0 half time, wasn't it? So yeah, the game would
Yeah,
be Leicester taking the foot off the gas.
yeah, and the fact that Derby conceded from, I think, 2 set pieces, potentially 1 set piece they concede from.
There was at least one, but I think you're
Yeah,
right. I think it was two.
potentially 2. Yeah, and Leicester had a non-offside goal uh, disallowed as well, which when you see on the replay, not offside. We'll be talking about more of that later on in the show, about linesmen missing clear onside goals, naming no names.
I wonder what game he's referring to there.
Uh, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I thought Leicester were very deserving of the win, just purely because of how they played in the first half. Second half, obviously, again, similar to Middlesbrough Hull, 3-0 up. You kind of a little bit more defensive, and you kind of just sat there and, won game management. I thought they did that relatively well, but it was a little bit tense at points, and I thought generally they managed to sort of the Midlands derby levels of tension that could arise relatively well, and I thought they sold the game out well. So much better from Leicester, and that needs to be more consistent. Not Wednesday night.
Hint, hint, hint. I wonder whoever it is that Leicester are playing. I wonder, is it Ashton Gate by any chance?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it would be. Well, so this is going to be the Annie versus Ant derby. We'll see. Yeah, and it's actually quite funny, guys. In the group chat, neither of them are talking as if they're both talking as if they're confident that the other team will beat their team. So we'll wait and see. It's like going, no, we're worse than you. No, we're worse than you. No, you'll beat us. You'll beat us. Let's see who's right come Tuesday night. So but yeah. Fair play. Thank you to Annie for sort of talking through that. Obviously, he did see the game, so I will bow to his superior knowledge when it comes to this. Right, let's move on to. Let's see, which ones have we covered? Okay, well, actually, yeah, I'll see. I'll talk about parachute teams. The last one I haven't mentioned Southampton, Birmingham. Yeah, so we have got. So Tonda Eckerts, it was his first game since being permanently appointed at Southampton following I would say, a pretty good interim spell, to say the least.
A good interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's an understatement, of course. He's done superbly to get the job. A 3-1 win over Birmingham, which I'm literally just trying to pretend I'm not watching the highlights for just now. A brace from Adam Armstrong followed a goal from Finn Azaz, who seems to be... Finn Azaz is starting to live up to sort of the price tag that was on his back after signing from Borough.
What a finish as well, with his left foot. Brilliant finish.
No, absolutely. What, for Finn Azaz?
Yeah, for Azaz, yeah.
I was going to say, because I saw Adam Armstrong's first goal, and that was pretty decent as well.
Yeah, that was really good as well.
This seems to be a game of really good goals, because I'm just watching Jamari Gray's goal for Birmingham. Why is anyone scoring from outside the box in this game? Goodness me. Like anything you can do, we can do better. Southampton, what do we make of them? It's funny, because since they obviously appointed Will Still, and then since they've sacked him, weirdly, although I remember, you were telling me that Southampton are indeed... Oh, Adam Armstrong, your second goal wasn't from outside the box. Disappointed. No, I think it was you who were telling me that Southampton under Will Still, there was nobody underperforming their underlying data than Southampton. And yet,
they were second in terms of expected goals in every metric under Will Still. Second.
So
they just couldn't finish their chances.
I was about to say, apart from finish their chances, what's Eckert got them doing differently?
Finish their chances. That's finishing their chances. It's no shock. It's no shock. Yeah, I mean, a couple of brilliant goals, fantastic finishes, and then a bit of a parry from James Beadle straight to Armstrong, that's his bread and butter in it. So it's a nice goal. And yeah, so it's a win, and potentially against a side in Birmingham who are also going to be promotion candidates, playoff candidates.
They've closed the gap to 1 point.
Yeah, along with Saints, and more pertinently for Southampton, they closed the gap on the playoffs as well. So they're motoring along. They've had one little blip in this run, which was obviously the defeat to Millwall very late on, but Millwall are doing very well, so you can sort of excuse that a little bit. So brilliant from Saints, and they're proving themselves to be what they are, which is a promotion contender for this division, and that is where they should be. So no surprises that they've started to sort of flip the switch, and now they're motoring along and they're doing really well, moving closer to the top of the division. For Birmingham, they're their away form needs to be fixed quickly if they are to be. Well, I take that back. I was going to say their away form needs to be fixed in order for them to get in the playoffs. But our away form last season was absolutely shocking, and we got in the playoffs. So I think we averaged less than a point per game away from home. So we were literally in relegation form on the road, but got in the
Just your home
playoffs.
form
So
was exceptional, wasn't it?
yeah, our home form was fantastic. So if Birmingham can produce that level of home form, which for all intents and purposes at the minute they are, they're scoring 4 goals every game at home, and they're playing really well. So it's just if you can get some points away from home, you can pick up an odd win here and there. That would be massively helpful for Blues, or at least stay in games and don't lose many games away from home. Then you can really build on that and be a promotion sort of playoff candidate. So very disappointing for Birmingham. Brilliant goal from Damari Gray. Just vintage Damari Gray that at his best. Cutting inside off the left, bending it curving it and wrapping his foot around it into the goal. So fantastic from him. But for Birmingham, their away form needs to be better. Otherwise, it's going to be just that much more difficult for them to get in the playoffs. But they're still in a good position, aren't they?
Yeah, no, I mean, Birmingham still, what is it, 2 points off the playoffs, Southampton 3 points off the playoffs. But again, it just goes how stupidly tight this division is. But sorry, go on, you were going to say something.
Sorry, I was going to say the thing we said with Coventry about this being one of the toughest away games, Ipswich away being one of the toughest away games of the season. St Mary's from now on is going to be one of the toughest away games of the season as well. So you can kind of write that off and excuse it as well, and just go right, beaten by the better side on the night who are more than capable of beating us. So you can kind of just put your hands up for that one.
No, that's absolutely fair enough. Yeah, of course, Southampton will be one of the toughest games, and that's fair enough. So they should be. Right, okay then. Obviously, we'll finish off the last of the sides in the playoffs. Well, apart from Millwall, but obviously you played Millwall, so we'll come to that at the end.
No, he didn't.
I
don't think we did.
You
I
didn't
don't
play
remember that.
football, did you? You just played like a bit of wrestling at the end on the
No,
touchline.
I don't think we played at all this weekend. I think we were just
No,
having
did
a
you?
day off.
Was your game called off as well and suspended?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, I think so. All right then. Well, a game that was
It could have been after that fight at the end.
yeah. Well, a game that definitely was not suspended was at Deepdale. Preston won, Wrexham won. So there was goals at the start and the end of this game. Kiefer Moore obviously scored in the first 5 minutes for Wrexham, and then it was Harrison. I think Harrison Armstrong, of course, scored a goal in the last 10 minutes to rescue a point for currently 5th place Preston, which. I suppose I'd be interested to see how, after Tim Sherwood's comments about them, I'd be interested to see how long Preston stay where they are.
What's Tim Sherwood said about them now?
Tim Sherwood, when they lost to Blackburn, said something to the effect of that Preston are quite fortunate to be where they are because the underlying data suggests.
Oh, I remember when. I did go on a rant about it, didn't I?
Yes. So let's wait and see how that pans out. I would imagine for Preston, this is definitely at least a point they salvaged in the fact that they were losing for most of the game. And against Wrexham, who I've got to give credit to Phil Parkinson. I mean, yeah, okay, you can say he's been backed, but at championship level, he hasn't really delivered so far. This season, he's now starting to show something because Wrexham are again in the freakishly tight pack towards the playoffs. 3 points off the playoffs. Yeah, they'll be disappointed not to win at the end, and their away form I think could be a bit better. But again, here a point at Preston I think is quite creditable. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a really good point, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think for Preston, a point at least that a defeat would have kept them in the playoff, but at least it keeps Preston keeps Preston. See, I can't talk now. Preston keeps Wrexham 4 points behind them. So I think it's safe to say that I think it's not a bad point for either side in the end. So is there anything to add to that before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, Preston will be really disappointed.
Apart from the fact that Stefan is happy with Wrexham.
Yeah, Preston were really disappointed with the fact and how they've conceded the goal. I mean, it's James McLean who whips in a right-footed ball and it just goes curling all the way back to the far post. And I think Liam Lindsay might have been at the front post who misses the header initially, and then it's Offia and Andy Hughes who are both on Kiefer Moore, and Kiefer Moore just gets around the back of them and pokes it in. So they'll be disappointed they've conceded a goal like that, where especially it's quite, if you're organised, it's quite easy to deal with that ball and just get it away and take a touch or something, do something, just get the ball rid. But they were disappointed with that. And for all intents and purposes, they were the better team in this game. And Okonkwo was really, really good for Wrexham and made a lot of key saves for them. So a very good point for Wrexham away from home at Preston, who are playing really well this season. So, yeah, I think both sides will be reasonably happy enough to just keep themselves ticking over.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. It keeps Preston in the playoffs and it keeps Wrexham in the sort of the
It's
playoff picture.
unbeaten run again, isn't it?
Well,
They've
exactly.
got really
Exactly.
good unbeaten run, Wrexham.
Tell you what, and again, two teams now that are sort of in this really tight pack for the playoffs are QPR and West Brom, who they of course met each other at Loftus Road or whatever the stadium's called now, Kylan Prince Foundation Stadium or whatever it is. But I'm saying Loftus Road because why not? QPR beat West Brom 3-1, which is okay. I've just seen So QPR won 3-1. So obviously in the first half we had, and I'm going to get this in the first name wrong here, Jonathan Varane. Yeah, that was all right actually. Right, Jonathan Varane and then Roman Borrell, both brace from Borrell in the second half, helped QPR to beat West Brom. West Brom scored a goal at 2-0 with Heggy finding the back of the net. But the win keeps QPR again and I feel like I've said this quite a few times, but in the congested mix for playoffs, QPR of course are 2 points off the playoffs. West Brom 5 points off the playoffs. Quickly for QPR, really, really impressive result. I know West Brom have started a bit, but West Brom are far from the worst team in the league. I think it's impressive enough to give QPR credit for it. So I think obviously, and especially with Borrell getting 2 goals in the second half, which of course he's not going to complain with, a really good half on a personal level for him. Are we going to stop? What are we thinking about West Brom? Because we talk about when I've seen about teams stop starting, West Brom seem to be in that category for me. I don't know what you think about that.
I'd say both sides are in that category. I'd say they're both sort of stop-start. I can't make my mind up about QPR, to be honest. I think they're not a bad side on their day. I think they are a good side on their day, but that day doesn't come around often enough. Will that mean they just sort of meander into mid-table? Possibly. West Brom, you can just tell there's so much more within this Albion team that's just not being unlocked, is it? And again, they also fall into the category of on their day they're really good, but that day doesn't come around often enough. So I genuinely could not make my mind up about both teams.
Yeah, I think it's this is what I mean. But I suppose it says a lot about how again inconsistent the Championship is. Where if they're both quite stop-start, but both are in the mix for playoffs, then shows maybe obviously you can tell that the Championship is more open this year. But nevertheless, good win for QPR. Nevertheless, all the same. Right, so I think we've got one. Let me just tell how many games we've got. Like 1, 2, 3 more to cover. Which one? Right, let's see. So we've obviously got Swansea, Oxford. Yeah, let's start with West. We'll start with Watford against Norwich. Obviously Philip Clement's Norwich. And is it? No, I've forgotten. Is it Garcia for Watford? I'm trying to remember what his first name is. Javi Garcia. That's it. I knew he used to be at Watford. I was trying to remember what his first name is. My brain just isn't working at all completely. Right now, I'm going to probably get this name wrong, but a brace from Kurmangard. I don't know if the J is silent there, so if it's not, then I've butchered that, but no surprise there. And then, of course, Tom Ince gets so Kurmangard brace, and Tom Ince helps Watford to a 3-2 win over Norwich. Bear in mind, of course, Watford went behind twice in the first half. Josh Sargent, who's finally has ended a goal drought, and I can't believe I'm saying goal drought and Josh Sargent in the same sentence because generally at this level, he is a goal machine. But it just shows to how badly he must have been managed under Liam Manning, and he's not happy at all, that he actually went on a massive goal drought. And then obviously finally has been broken for him. Oscar Schwartau.
He loves scoring at Watford as well, by the way.
Yes, I have seen that. I think the Norwich fan put something like, was it 3 things certain in life? Death, taxes, and Josh Sargent scoring against Watford, or whatever it was.
At Vicarage Road as well,
Yeah,
which is
so
just
there you go.
Yeah.
So, all right then. So basically, Sargent will be hoping they can play Watford every week, but of course they got nothing from the game. This is a weird one to sort of assess. Really. Obviously, Norwich themselves got 4 points in 2 home games last week when they drew against Oxford, which should have been a win, really, and beat QPR And then, of course, but obviously Clement's lost his first 2 away games. Okay, Birmingham, first game, fair enough. You can sort of let that slide a little bit. I don't think he was appointed that long beforehand anyway, so I think it wouldn't be fair to include that. And obviously this one, so it's, I suppose, an example of Norwich managing to shoot themselves in the foot again, really. I do still have enough to believe that Norwich will probably have a better chance of getting out of it now they've got Clement. But yeah, not encouraging if you're going to throw away a lead, especially when you're ahead twice, to then not get anything from the game.
Yes. Their defensive frailties showed again, didn't they? And that sort of inconsistent partner alongside Harry Darling it's a bit concerning. They've tried Shane Duffy, they've tried Jakov Medic, they've tried loads of different things, and it's just not settling in that back line at the moment. I think Kenny McLean's played left back and stuff, so it's weird. Obviously, injuries haven't helped, and yada yada yada. 3-2 at 3-2. Josh Sargent, I think, misses a big opportunity to make it 3 each, doesn't he? So yeah, I mean, I'd be more encouraged if I was a Norwich fan. I mean, the performances are improving, the defensive frailties are there, but you'd hope with time that gets better and that stops obviously showing. But yeah, good win for Watford, and they were a bit funny because they wasn't the most convinced. They were apparently pretty dreadful first half, and second half bit better, but they need to be more. They need to be better across the game. I think.
Do you mean better than just better than awful?
Yeah, and again, the obvious caveat is they're playing a Norwich team who aren't very good at the minute, who aren't playing very well, and look at where they are in the league. So it's a bit weird from a Watford perspective because they won the game, but the performance wasn't. I've felt that situation, felt that way quite a few times this season. So, yeah, good win for Watford, but bit of a okay, that's fine, but needs to be better if you're to sustain promotion sort of playoff push. But for Norwich, more encouraging despite them losing.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think I agree with you on defensive frailties because I've just looked at Norwich's goals against column, and they're the third worst team defensively in the Championship. The only teams that have conceded more goals, one, obviously Sheffield Wednesday have let in the most. I don't think that's a surprise. And the team that's second worst is Hull. So, yeah, two teams that have not been renowned for being great defensively this season. So I think with Norwich, yeah, I agree with you. I think Clement is getting better performances out of them. But yeah, obviously more work certainly there to be done. The penultimate game was Swansea City against Oxford United, which was pretty dull, which pretty much had nothing going and no goals until the 40th minute. Let me try to fucking. So you take me through it then. Swansea 2, Oxford 0. What are we saying for this? Because you've said that Alan Sheehan hasn't been getting more out of this Swansea team. So is this a case that you can be a bit more lenient on Oxford, given Swansea's team might be better than what they've been showing, or is it still concerning from an Oxford perspective?
I think it can be bit of both.
Try saying that 5 times quickly.
I'd rather not. But yeah, I mean, objectively for Oxford, this is a team that they're playing a team in Swansea who are at the moment in direct competition with Oxford. So you want them to be sort of competitive in the game. Yeah, picking something up and pick something up on the road. So a bit concerning for Oxford because their performances haven't been at top level, and a lot of their chances they created in this game was at 2-0 down. So bit weird from an Oxford perspective. They need to be better, and I still think they'll be sort of in and around the conversation for the season come May. So I don't know with Oxford, but for Swansea, from a Swansea perspective, they should get better. They should get better because their squad is better than what they are at the minute, and they scored the second goal from Timon is superb, isn't it? I mean, straight off the volley, I think it's straight volley, from the corner. I mean, brilliant. What a finish! And the first goal is a courtesy of Josh Timon as well, who heads it in. Marco Stamanic heads it in from a Josh Timon set piece delivery. So good win for Swansea. Needed that win, and okay, it's Oxford at home. You probably should be winning that game. Bristol City, but but it's a direct competitor at this moment in time. It's good to get them on the board, I think. So good win for Swans. Can their squad live up to what they should be now, which is nowhere near where they are at the minute, which is about 18th or something where they are.
20th.
Well, even worse then, but they should be much higher.
Well, put it this way, they were below Oxford going into the game. So
they should not be, no.
No. Well, now they're obviously not, but yeah, we'll wait and see if they can start climbing a bit higher. So I'll just double check we've gone through, apart from the game that you claim did not happen. Let's have a quick look. So 1, 2, we've done Derby, Leicester, Watford, Norwich, Ipswich, Coventry. Yeah, we've done all of them. Done all the games. So now, the game.
Okay, thank you very much for watching, everyone.
Now, your bonus bit is Bristol City versus Millwall, which I imagine Annie does not want to talk about, but we're going to have to force him to talk about.
See everyone.
Yeah. That bad, huh?
Can I analyse the fight instead of the game? I think that'll be.
All right, I'll tell you what then. I'll quickly mention the result from Millwall point of view. I know that Annie will the way Annie talks, sometimes he talks like Bristol City are in a relegation battle. But let's say for Millwall, it's a typical Alex Neil sort of go away from home, be tight, win 1-0 sort of thing. And I'm guessing.
Can I flip that? Can I flip that? Can I say it's a typical Bristol City performance when they come up against a team who sits in a low block?
And you can't break them down.
We cannot break them down. Surprise, surprise. We have got no... Well, maybe that's a bit far. We did create some big opportunities, but no. Generally, first half in particular, where Millwall were quite low blocky-ish, we couldn't break them down. No.
Well, to be fair, if we're going to look, according to the XG numbers, you had what was it? You had a better XG record than Millwall, 1.44 and 0.92 for.
It's like two bold men fighting over a cone, mate.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get a reaction out of you. But yeah, I mean, well, at least if you had Russell Martin, he would go, well, we've actually won on the possession because we had 66, 67% of the ball. But yeah,
if we had Russell Martin, mate,
yeah, I'd love to see your faces actually.
Behave yourself.
Yeah, it's almost like me if Sunderland got Chris Wilder, isn't it? But yeah, okay, go on then. So, did Millwall deserve the win?
Okay, I'm going to be brutally honest. No, I don't think they did. But that's just the way. It's just the way it goes. I'm afraid. They had that big moment where they scored. We gave the ball away in the middle of the pitch. There is a big gap on our left-hand side because Neto Borges decided to go for a stroll up the pitch, and Femi Aziz gets in direct, nice and direct. Although he was quite good. Femi Aziz gets the ball down the right-hand side, just run our defence. Has a couple of shots blocked. Sorry, one of them was saved by Vitek. I think the other one had been blocked. Obviously, the deflection goes straight to Mihailo Ivanovic. And Ivanovic then takes his time, nice composure, finishes it. There's 1-0, and we create some chances after that. We have, and here we go, this is where I might lose my mind. We have a perfectly good goal disallowed for offside. And the thing with this one is, the ball comes in from Ameti. I think it's from just across from the left-hand side. It goes all the way to the back post. Why am I full screen? It goes all the way to the back post.
To do that.
Goes all the way to the far post to Ross McCrory, who heads it across. And as soon as Ross McCrory gets his head on it, did this show on the highlights? I haven't actually watched the highlights.
I think it did, but I've been trying to do this and look at the same time.
I don't normally watch our highlights when we lose, funnily enough. But it goes all the way to the far post to Ross McCrory. As heads it down, immediately, as soon as he gets contact on the ball, the linesman, puts his flag up. So I think, he must have been offside. So I kind of initially go, okay, whatever happens now doesn't matter. Obviously, as you do when an offside flag goes up. Zach Viner finishes it absolutely outstandingly. So I was kind of disappointed. If that counted, that would have been unbelievable. I mean, Zach Viner never scores. The fact that he scored a brilliant half volley like that would have been fantastic. So I immediately assume he must have been a little bit offside then, quite far offside. I know fullbacks sometimes tend to do that when they've got so far across, can't quite see the line. Read the lines brilliantly enough. We see the replay. Ross McCrory is not even close to being offside. So I don't know what the linesman is seeing. He's directly in line with that back line of Millwall. I don't know if he thinks that the rest of the Millwall line is quite far high up the pitch, is a little bit further on from Ross McCrory, but Zach Sturge has followed McCrory, and he's about 5 yards behind the Millwall defence, so he's actually playing McCrory on side, and the fact that the linesman has then gone, he is offside, mate, is ludicrous, and has cost us a point, because that's in the 95th minute, so a late equaliser then would have been more than deserved, in my opinion, because we have numerous big opportunities. Emil Reese misses a literal tap in at the far post. It's a brilliant ball in from Mehmeti. Reese at the far post misses a tap in. Neto Borges from another cross completely miskicks it, and if he gets any sort of sufficient contact, it goes past Crocombe and it goes into the back of the net. Mehmeti has another shot, cross-come shot that goes just wide of the far post. And I thought generally we created some big opportunities that we just can't take. And Ross McCrory has an effort with his left foot, sort of, I think in stoppage time as well, which is just tipped to the side by Crocombe. We deserved a point, at least. And I thought we were the better side. And so frustrating that we haven't put the ball in the back of the net. No, I mean, sorry. It's so frustrating that when we did put the ball in the back of the net, the linesman decided that it was somehow illegal. God knows why. But yeah, and all of it obviously boils over at the end where Alex Neil is saying Gerhard Struber didn't offer to shake his hand and then pulled out at the last minute. Gerhard Struber is saying Alex Neil just refused to shake his hand, full stop. Gerhard Struber then went on to say you can check the tape, you can check the footage, whatever, it's crystal clear, stuff like that. So I don't know why Struber would be lying. But yeah, it's just a complete mess. Jason Knight then decides to shove Alex Neil twice, and then David Livermore, who I mistakenly thought was Alex Neil, both are bald. Don't shoot me.
You're judging bald people
there. David Livermore, actually, proper hard man, decides to put his neck around, put his arms around Jason Knight's neck, which is very interesting. I'm sure he'll get a nice fine for that. I'm sure both clubs will get a nice fine for what just happened off the pitch. David Livermore puts his arms around Jason Knight's neck, and he then ends up on the floor, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, I mean, it's just a complete mess. Harry Cornick has a swing at someone, and Harry Cornick's it's not relevant to this game at all. Joe Williams as well comes and just decides to just join in the fight, and Joe Williams has been injured for about 4 months, so God knows where he's got. God knows where he's come from as well. So a complete mass brawl off the pitch that don't want to say who caused it or whatever. It's subjective, I guess. But yeah, not nice to a game where we were so frustrating, and I don't want to say anything that might that might cause me a bit.
Jose Mourinho, I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
I'm not going to be in big trouble, but if I don't want to say something,
moderate trouble.
Moderate, yeah, I guess. I don't want to say something that's going to trigger Millwall fans or anything. So I will say fair play to Millwall, and they did it. To be fair to them, without a midfield, basically. They had at the start of the game they had Casper Denol, and they had what's his name, Dan Kelly in midfield. And at halftime, Casper Denol, who is arguably their best midfielder, gets subbed off, presumably for an injury. And Egley comes on. Negley comes on. Camille Negley, not Egley, who plays for Ipswich. Camille Negley comes on, and he forms a part of the midfield of Dan Kelly, who makes his second start of the league, Reece Bangura Williams, who is not a midfielder, Camille Negley, who is not a midfielder. So they had a complete makeshift midfield, and they still managed to win that midfield battle in the second half, and we had Knight and Randall on the pitch for the majority of it. So frustrating, so disappointing, but you know what? Fair play to Millwall. They've done it to us numerous times at Ashton Gate over the past years that we've been in the Championship together. They did it a couple of years ago under Joe Edwards. They've done it God knows how many times under Rowett and Harris. So yeah, typical Millwall at Ashton Gate, I'm afraid. And City just couldn't find. We found the answers, we just didn't write them down.
Sounds like an exam question now. But do you know the exam question where it's like an algebra and it goes find X, someone circles it, right, here it is. So it's like going find the back of the net, Bristol City. Here it is. We just didn't score. Or sorry, rephrase that. Find the back of the net, but shoot wide, and then it bounces off the advertising board and hits the back of the net.
Or actually put the ball in the back of the net, but
but to count as offside
legal.
apparently.
So yeah, offside.
Offside, though. Well, okay then. I guess obviously this says a lot. How I was surprised I managed to get that much out of Annie, considering that he wanted to talk about the fight more than the actual result. But yes, I did see that what looked like a full-on brawl after the game. So
you know when commentators say, and I'm sure there's some sort of some contract binding, some sort of word from the broadcaster saying,
is this when they're going to say
these are scenes that we don't want to see? Yes, they are. Come on.
You
bit
sounded
passion,
like
bit fight.
I don't know if this is going to offend you or not or anything, but you sound like the guys on the second tier pod when they go, these are things we don't want to see, and they go, yes, they bloody are. These are things we shouldn't like to see, but we do like to see.
Obviously, these are not ideal scenes, but there's scenes that happen from time to time, so you might as well go with it.
Might as well play fisticuffs and just go right at each other. Yeah, this is how nuts this is getting to. But yes, no, I think that pretty much rounds off the sort of championship review. Let's quickly look at what the table is. I wish I was as good as Carl at getting the table up, but I'll just quickly say who the top 6 and bottom 3 are. So, top of the league, Coventry, shock. Then we have Middlesbrough in second. Playoffs consist of Millwall, Ipswich, Preston and Stoke. And the bottom 3 consist of Portsmouth, Norwich and, of course, Sheffield Wednesday, who I should mention have been obviously deducted a further -6 points. So, well done, Chancery, but I'll not bang on about that too much, really, because we've kind of kicked a dead horse with it at this point. And then, obviously, we have another midweek of championship action. So,
oh, God, do we?
Yep. I bet Andy can't wait for Wednesday night. Bristol City versus Leicester City. So,
knowing us, we'll probably beat them like 4-0 or something stupid like that.
No, do you know what'll happen, right? I'll bet you'll end up losing to Leicester at home and play really, really shit, and then go to Coventry and then suddenly produce your best performance of the season and win like 1-0. Tell me that is not Bristol City.
Typical textbook City.
Exactly. That's how it. And I don't think it's just you guys. I said, what's the words I used last week? Peak championship. That's it. Yeah, it's just mental all over. But yes,
sorry, just finally on us. This sort of block of fixtures coming up.
You did say this was going to be a big month.
Make or break. I mean, just look at the state of them. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. We've got obviously Leicester at home, which is a difficult game. We've got Coventry away, which is next level difficult game. Middlesbrough at home, which is a very difficult game. West Brom away, direct competitor. And I'm sure we've got QPR in there somewhere. Millwall away again. Millwall again in late January. So we have got some difficult make or break fixtures coming up. And we had a similar run like this last season where we played West Brom, Sunderland, Watford, Norwich, all of these sort of big teams in the division and or direct competitors. And Middlesbrough, we beat them all. And that's why we got into the playoffs. I don't have the same levels of confidence, but if we can somehow manage to find a way of clawing enough points, even after losing yesterday, then we're in a conversation.
I think if you keep yourself in touch by the end of all these fixtures, and when I say in touch, I mean within 3-4 points, then you've probably done all right, I think. But there is, of course, January when I tried to get Annie a little bit excited. Jokingly said they should sign Eliza Mayenda on loan because he's not playing very much for us at the moment. So we'll wait and see what happens with that one.
I'm sure one of the parachute payment teams are on hotline if Mayenda becomes available.
Do you really think so? Considering the forward options are pretty much every single one of them has.
Hey, if Mayenda comes up, I don't care who you are. The game displays, aren't you?
Well, you could say that, but I would say can't even talk. Sheffield United have got likes of Bamford and Cannon and Campbell.
They've got about 15 strikers, to be fair.
Well, exactly. Then
Southampton, harm another one.
Yeah, and then Southampton, I think, got Ross. I don't know if he's out injured again, but Ross Stewart there, Adam Armstrong, Cameron Archer, Leicester have got Bobby Reed and Patton. Okay, Patton.
They need a striker. Leicester,
Yeah, maybe
actually.
Leicester. Okay, fair enough. And then Ipswich.
But they won't sign anyone, will they? So
No, they can't. And then Ipswich have got George Hurst, and then who else have they got?
Yvonne Azon.
Chibak who can play there, but it's more of a sort of a deeper player, really, isn't he? Like number 10, but yeah. So I'm just saying. Well, you never know. We'll wait and see. The textbook say Meander signs on loan for Bristol City, and then ML Reese signs on loan somewhere else. I don't know. Just as a
I
random.
don't think that's going to happen.
No, probably not. But anyway, no, thanks very much to Annie for joining me. Yeah, this is definitely time for this to end. To the one person who is watching, fair play, I salute you. Yeah. Okay, should we get Annie on full screen again?
Rather not.
I thought you would say that. But no, thanks, Annie, for joining, and thanks to everyone who has been watching. So, yes, we'll be back next weekend. We'll see if Carl is going to end up joining us, and what mood I will definitely be in next week will be massively dictated by what happens at the Stadium of Light between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock next Sunday. So if you don't know, it is the weird
wonder why.
Yeah, something against unwashed Saudi Newcastle. But yeah, we'll go with that. Hopefully I'm in very good mood next week, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll take care, and we'll see you all next week. Take care, everybody.